The smoke, the flames, and the frightened faces. All in a firefighter's line of duty. But Chief William Hitchcock remembers the night it wasn't the fire that almost stopped him.
Oh, I was scared to death.
But the fire escape that broke underneath him.
Where the railing just came away from the building.
And our investigation found across Massachusetts more unsafe fire escapes. Rusty, deteriorating, crumbling, broken. And what state officials didn't know, the system they set up to keep fire escapes safe is also falling apart.
The potential ramifications are disastrous.
So let's look at this one. This expert ironworker is licensed to build, maintain, and inspect fire escapes.
So then over here?
For months, we examined dozens of them with alarming results.
Looking at this today, would this pass inspection?
No.
In dormitories, at theaters, at homes, and apartment buildings.
Rust is actually eating away the metal of the fire escape.
Correct.
And the bottom line?
It'll get weak and then eventually it'll fall.
This one has rotted connections. This one missing bolts, twisted metal.
Would the stairs come down?
No, never come down.
This one a broken tread.
So how dangerous is it for the people inside this building?
This fire escape is definitely going to put somebody either in the hospital or it's going to put somebody in a cemetery.
Fire escapes are so critical. The state building code requires they be certified for structural adequacy and safety every 5 years. But our investigation found that safeguard is simply being ignored. Here's proof. We chose fire escapes at random in Boston, Somerville, Cambridge, Worcester, and here in Quincy. We checked building department files.
But there's no fire escape certification.
Not in this file.
To see if building owners had submitted their mandatory inspection reports.
There's no certification in this one either.
Right.
Bottom line, not one we checked in Quincy had been certified as safe. And the director of inspectional services admitted because of staffing shortages, the city has no idea how many other fire escape owners are breaking the rules.
And as a result, do you know how many fire escapes in your city are safe or not?
Well, I don't know.
In Worcester, not one we checked was certified. In Somerville,
No.
4 more fire escapes.
Did it fall through the cracks? Yeah.
Not one up-to-date certification. And again, no system for keeping track.
How can they get away with that?
I guess the shortest answer of all is because we don't have the resources to sit here and follow up on these things.
If structural deficiencies are reported, local building inspectors can actually evacuate residents until repairs are made.
Would you talk to us on camera about this? No?
But when we surveyed 24 more communities, most admitted they had no idea how many fire escapes were certified. In Taunton, inspectors told us they haven't seen a certification in 25 years. Northampton officials said it's a cold day in hell when that happens. In Cambridge, too, not one of our test buildings was certified, and the official in charge would not come out to discuss it. In Boston, where there are more than 8,000 fire escapes, again, according to inspectional services, not one we checked was certified. Officials know they are required to enforce the building code, but they admit they don't always know if owners are breaking the law.
The building code is being ignored.
Right, but it's difficult to write a violation when you don't have knowledge of something like that.
But state officials say for a critical issue like this, communities should know. And they warn the Massachusetts building code is not optional.
Does it worry you that these fire escapes are not being certified?
This is an important issue and should not be ignored.
That's because after the smoke and flames begin, it'll be too late to learn you've got no way out.
I can't stress it enough, Hank, that these things have to be maintained and someone's got to be watching.
As a result of our investigation, state officials will now issue an alert to local inspectors. Meanwhile, if there's a fire escape on your home or office, you can contact your local building department to make sure it's properly certified. In the newsroom, I'm Hank Philippi Ryan.
So whether you're an inspector or whether you're somebody, you have your own home, you have your own building, the first thing is the law is very clear. It must be structurally sound and must be kept painted. So is the fire escape painted or is it not painted? And does it have more paint than rust or more rust than paint? So I can just look at this fire escape and say that I have evidence right now that there's more rust than paint on this fire escape. So immediately, if you were to call an inspector out here, the law doesn't allow him to pass this fire escape simply because it has more rust than paint. And structural means that if the fire escape is 50 to 75 years old, when any inspector is looking at it, he's got to see some evidence of maintenance. And maintenance means that I have to see a change in bolts, I have to see a change in rivets, I have to see some new hardware. Because when I go up to a fire escape, I see nothing but original hardware. That hardware is 50 to 75 years old. It's been out in the weather 50 to 75 years, and it's just impossible for not one of those rivets, one of those bolts to be changed in 50 to 75 years. And whenever that occurs, what I have is a fire escape that somebody's been constantly painting, but they've never done anything structurally to it. So now that makes the entire fire escape pretty much suspect. So now I have to be careful as to what I'm looking at to make sure that the structural now, on especially the major structural connections, that has been kept painted. The cantilever's out of balance. It does have original hardware, but the original hardware on this one is 25 to 50 years old, probably built in the 60s. Fire escape's in good order, and a lot of welded connections need to be, to avoid the load test, we need to mechanically back up all the welded connections, otherwise we have to x-ray or load test. A lot of the hardware here is hex head hardware, but again, it's already 25 to 50 years old, so it's due for a load test to verify. Some of these connections does have rust in it, but again, rust that is in the maintenance kind, we got to clean it out, seal it up so that the rust doesn't get back in there. And this fire escape is a candidate. All the treads are good. I would vote for this one to be load tested, similar to the other fire escape report that we did there. Now, the one thing that is happening in the future is most likely this fire escape is going to be married to that one, so we can remove the entire contents of the lower portion of that one. So there's going to be a catwalk coming from this fire escape there, marrying to this fire escape here, along this whole entire line right here. Once it comes to here, we're now going to take this staircase, we're going to go out here and go down and marry that platform, which is going to become a double. This cantilever unit is going to go away, and it's going to stay in a down position with a cage if required, so that it's no longer a cantilevered system here. And this will allow us to basically eliminate one fire escape and use this one. But this staircase is going to move out here. This platform is going to expand out, and that platform is going to become a double to accept the outside staircase, because now we need this all the way across to marry this into a platform. Coming out the door, I would go out this way, go down the stairs, go back to this platform, go down the stairs with or without a cage down there. So this is a candidate for a load test. Needs rebalancing. We need a release arm on here if this is going to get fixed only and not played or joined into the other one. It's going to have a release arm here. Once you release it, it's going to drop 2 to 3 feet per second, hit the ground, and stay down. This fire escape is fairly new construction, again 25 to 50 years old. It is a candidate for a load test, and all these connections are devoid of any rust. So this fire escape is ready for a load test or to be joined with this other fire escape. And the conversation is to remove all this lower portion. That stays. Catwalk all the way across, hits that one becomes a double. That staircase there then comes out to the double, comes down. This lower platform here is a double, marries into it, goes into it, and then it's a full fixed stair to the ground with or without a cage, permanently stays down all the time. The cage will provide protection for safety issues if you're concerned. And then we eliminate the whole weight balance. So this staircase from the pivot point down just basically gets cut off, and this thing can be done. Getting down to the ground, these feet should be, there's a lot of snow and ice that accumulate. These feet should be all tarred up so that we can save the feet as best we can, because all that sand and that snow and that salt will eat these. Don't have any obstructions underneath. This one was further out. We had to move it in order for this to come down. That one, such as, there's got to be areas that you got to mark off on these that says nothing underneath that would stop it from ever coming down. Over there was the trash can, wouldn't let it come down, so the trash can has to be moved to a new location and chained there so that nobody ever moves it to a convenient area. Same thing here. Sometimes, either you permanently affix it or you chain it so that nobody can ever move it and put it underneath the wrong place. Any questions? Fire escape engineers, Inspector Summary Video. This is Inspector Meneses. 866-649-0333. 866-649-0333. The authority having jurisdiction shall accept by load test or other evidence of strength. This is one that we're looking to load test to give the guarantee as opposed to an opinion letter.